Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Abby and I'm the owner of A Couple Tumblers, and today we're going to be doing an alcohol ink wildlife tumbler tutorial. Oh my goodness, that is a mouthful. I don't even know how else to say it because this is what it is. Look how stinking cute it is. I got inspired by a girl named Kelly. She owns Dixie Darlings on Instagram and YouTube. I'm going to put her links in the description down below, so go check her out. But before you guys go and before we get started, you know what to do. Give me a big thumbs up, hit that subscribe button down below, and let's get to it. All right, to start off this tumbler, I did cut out this wildlife scene and I got it from Etsy. I'm going to link it down below in the description. This shop on Etsy has so many different wildlife scenes, and this is what my customer wanted. I did cut out an extra tree because I knew that there was going to be a gap in my image when I did wrap this around my cup, and you're going to see where I place this tree here just in a little bit. But I am going to take my transfer tape and peel up some of the backing and put it down onto my image so this is going to help me transfer my image onto my tumbler. I'm going to take my squeegee and just kind of push this backing off of my image, and you're going to see that I struggle with this for a little bit, and then I'm just going to end up peeling the entire backing off because I realized that this isn't the place that it needs to be anyways. So why not rip it off like a band-aid and just squeegee this all down. Once I think my image is all transferred onto my transfer paper, I am going to lift this up and cut any of the excess off, so that way it makes things easier once I transfer my image onto the tumbler. The tumbler that we are going to be using today is a 30-ounce skinny straight from Makerflow. Once again, that is a 30-ounce skinny straight from Makerflow. I do not have any more of the tapered skinnies. One, because they don't sell them anymore, and two, I've been doing a lot of vinyl wraps here lately, so I figured why not just take the time and just get all of the skinny straights, because why have to deal with a tapered cup? It makes things so much more easier when you do have a straight skinny. And here I am just wrapping my image around the cup to make sure that it is the size that I measured it out to be, and you could see where the slight gap was. Now I am just lifting up some of the backing from the image, from the vinyl, and that is going to create the hinge. You could see that I use a lot of the same techniques that I do for a lot of the cups that I make. So lift up some of the backing, peel it over or peel it back and cut it off, and then you're going to take your tumbler and put your image where you want it to be, and then after that you're just going to peel some of that backing off and rub your image down. When I get to the part where the image meets, I'm going to lift up some of the transfer tape so that way I can lay the other side of the transfer tape down and there's not going to be an overlapping part, and this is going to help you peel up your transfer tape so much easier. I was about to say vinyl. You don't want to peel up your vinyl. Here I am just having some trouble and some difficulty taking this vinyl off of the transfer tape. I should have stuck my transfer tape onto my shirt or my pants to make it a little bit less sticky, but it all works out in the end. I do have to push down on the vinyl a little bit more to make it all stick down. Once I have everything in place and there's really no more moving it, I'm just going to lift up on the transfer tape to leave my image behind. And then after that, I am going to place my tree where the gap is, and I'm going to show you here in a little bit where that is. While filming, I forgot to show you what alcohol inks I'm using. So I'm using Aquamarine by Tim Holtz, a blue from Pinata, a cobalt from Tim Holtz, a green called Clover from Tim Holtz, and then I am going to be using this green from Pinata, and then lastly a yellow from Pinata as well. I'm going to take these makeup sponges, and I've got them from Walmart. You know these cute little makeup sponges that you used to use when you were little to play around with your mom's makeup? Yup, that is the one. So I'm just going to rip them in half, and I'm going to place some of my blue alcohol inks down on this parchment paper. I definitely did not pour enough or squeeze enough out of the bottle, but you're going to see here that I'm going to go back and forth putting more alcohol inks. You can either dab this onto your sponge or put it onto your tumbler directly, but I like to put it onto the parchment paper so that way there is no more excess on my sponge, or I just get enough alcohol inks onto my sponge. Now that I have all of my inks onto the parchment paper, I'm going to take one of the little square pieces that I broke off and dip them into the corresponding colors that I want. I'm going to start off with aquamarine, and then I'm just going to go in with different shades of blue to fill in this lake spot. After I am done with this, I am going to go into the mountains and use the yellows and greens. I'm going to place the yellows on the tippity top of the mountains, and then I'm going to fade it into the darker green. Once we are done with this, we are going to go in with some alcohol, some rubbing alcohol, to blend all the colors in together, so that way it doesn't look so linear. So that way it doesn't look so much linear, like you just put it on there and you called it a day. No, we want to blend it out. That's what's going to bring this whole thing together. To blend my inks, I did take a medicine cup and filled it with 91% rubbing alcohol. Why can I not talk today? Can you guys tell that I am a little stuffy? I've been feeling a little bit under the weather, and I do have some congestion. No, I do not have COVID. I promise I don't have any of the symptoms besides congestion and feeling a little bit clogged in my nose. That is what congestion is, right? I'm just rambling on at this point. But anyways, I did take some 91% rubbing alcohol into a medicine cup, and I'm going to dip one of my sponges into it and then just dab on to the tumbler where I want to blend my colors. Once I dab the alcohol ink, I am going to blow some hot air, some of my own breath, onto this tumbler to blend the inks just a little bit more, because you do realize when you dab your sponge onto your inks, it does leave these weird little cell looking things. So blowing on the rubbing alcohol and the inks, that's going to help blend, and it's going to make it look a little bit more watercolor rather than you just dabbed it all on together. So that is what I'm also going to do for the mountains. I did change up my sponge so that way there's not going to be any blue that gets into the green. And I did get a little crazy here in a little bit, and my alcohol ink ran just a smidge, but it's okay. We came back and we fixed it, and I believe these trees and these mountains just look so good once everything is blended. If it doesn't blend, then just go ahead and put more rubbing alcohol. Rubbing alcohol does indeed make the alcohol ink move once again. Once I get my trees and my water to look a certain way or the way that I want it to look, I am just going to go ahead and dab on some more alcohol inks. I am using aquamarine for the sky, and then I'm going to work up to the darkest blue that I have that I showed you guys in the beginning before I started putting the alcohol inks on. And then once I do the blue, I'm going to add some gray alcohol ink. I'm going to be using the color Slate by Tim Holtz, and I'm just going to apply that to the very tippity top of my tumbler. Tell me why I keep saying tippity top. I don't know, but it is what it is. But my customer, she wanted a more dreary or foggy look to her tumbler instead of the nice little sunset. So that's what we're going to be doing today. And once I get all of my colors on here, I'm going to be doing the same thing that I did for the water and for the mountains, where I just take some rubbing alcohol and dab it onto the alcohol inks to help it blend. Once I do put on the rubbing alcohol onto my tumbler, I am going to blow it to help the alcohol ink move and not stay in one spot, because if you do not blow onto your rubbing alcohol or rubbing alcohol and alcohol ink, that is going to create some cells. Unless that is the look that you're going for, then go for it. But I'm going to be blowing on this tumbler, and I did find out very quickly I got out of breath. So take your time doing this. Don't make yourself pass out and lose air, because that's not going to be fun. As I blended my alcohol inks, I did realize that the top looked a little funny, only because the gray started to look a little bit purple. So I'm going to be taking this black alcohol ink from Pinata as well and just make a line on the top of my tumbler. And I'm going to blend this in, and it's just going to create this pretty foggy color on the top. You know when it's going to look like it's going to storm? That is the look that we are going for. I know my blending looks a little crazy, but I promise you I do fix it. And you could see that all the black went down, and I'm just going to take the rubbing alcohol onto my sponge and blend it away and blow at the same time. And here is my tumbler basically all blended in. I'm just going to leave it like this because I like the way that the sky looks a little bit more marbly and that there's a lot of dimension going on into the sky. This definitely gives me some stormy sky vibes. I didn't know what I wanted to say, and I felt like I'm running out of breath because I still feel congested, as I said before. But I'm going to take this black alcohol ink and just finish the rest of the tumbler off. And then once this is all dry, I'm going to put a layer of epoxy on it, and also mix some diamonds from Glitter Heart Company into my epoxy, just like a little smidge of glitter to give this a little more pizzazz. And that is it, you guys. A alcohol ink wildlife scene tumbler. There's so many different scenes that you could do, so many different color palettes that you could do. So just have fun with it and make sure to blend. That is the biggest thing that I learned when I'm making this tumbler, is to make sure that I blend. So that way there are there are no harsh lines on your tumbler. So just have fun with it. And before you guys go, you already know what to do. Leave a comment down below if you have any questions or have something that you want to see next. Also hit that notification bell so that way you don't miss out when I upload a video, and I'll see you next week. Bye guys!